It's week 15 in the NFL. The Cowboys can maybe still make the playoffs. The Giants almost beat the Eagles. And I'm sure we'll find something to talk about regarding the Redskins. So stay tuned.
You're tuning in to the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I don't want to talk about this game.
Oh my god.
I gotta be honest, I didn't really watch all of it, and I was trying to read the post-game articles and video, and I was bored just watching the recap.
I watched the highlights.
That residual
yeah.
shade hurt.
That did hurt.
Well,
Like you threw all the shade over here, and I felt some.
Is it
supposed to be
shade if it's true?
hurtful. It's supposed to be fun for
Is it
people.
shade if it's true? That's my question.
No.
DeAnjilo doesn't care. He knows what's up.
Okay.
The Redskins are still playing this?
Well, we are getting along in this
Still
NFL
dressing.
season. It's crazy that it's almost over. I feel like that was a snap of the finger. We're on
For
to,
you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, this is still like high contender time for the Cowboys. So this,
come on.
I mean, all right. I'm not going to give up. Obviously, I'm going to be hopeful, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
We're moving on. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Jenna Bussiere. You can find me on Twitter at Jenna_Bussiere. This is the NFC East Reactions and Updates show. We got all of our panel here tonight. What's going on, guys?
How's it going, Jenna?
Hello.
I'm Joshua Rodrguez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_.
I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. all the letters.
And I'm DeAnjilo. You can hit me up on Twitter at DeAnjilo TV, on Instagram at DeAnjilo.
All right. How's everybody doing?
It's Christmas time.
It's Christmas. There's
it
things
is
to be hopeful
Christmas.
about.
Christmas.
You didn't get. I mean, you did get your Christmas present you wanted. The coaching staff is fired.
Yes,
and
I did
the
get that.
GM, so.
I was hoping that we lost to the Eagles, and we lost. I was getting nervous. It was nice to see the team play fairly well on offense for the first time all year, but I did want to catch that L, and we did.
Oh, so for a higher draft? Because
Yes.
I did not want you guys to catch
Yes,
that L.
I
You
know.
disappointed me greatly. You almost had it down to the
Sorry.
end there.
Don't trust us.
I
Not
mean,
this
so
year.
this was a lot closer of a game than we expected, right? Steve, how were you feeling during this? Was there a point you were nervous? They got up 2 touchdowns in a row, their first opening drives of the game.
So, I just need to explain how low the bar was for me heading into this game. A,
Please do.
we're already the NFC East champions. B, our star quarterback is not there. And C, it's not the end of the world if we lost. So the fact we came out and ultimately won, it is an ultimate success. The fact that Nick Foles fit into this offense, I'm not going to say like a glove, but like a mitten. It's a good like he didn't fit into the offense like a glove, nor should he have. He fit into this offense like a mitten.
So
we
are
have we have 2 weeks to work out the fingers. The thumb and the hand got in
Oh,
there.
we're getting further into this metaphor.
At first, I just took it as, okay, you're more of a glove guy than a mitten guy.
No,
That could be
like-
your opinion.
All right.
Maybe some people like mittens better.
No, but like he fit this offense like a mitten, not necessarily a glove.
When did that one come in? How long were you working
Just
on that?
this second.
Just this second.
Just this second.
I approve.
Sounds like it.
I approve.
Well done, Steve's
But-
brain.
I have to say and I'm not the only person saying this, I'm very disappointed in the Eagles offense. Or sorry, the Eagles defense.
yes.
For the last 3 weeks they've underperformed. And for the 2 weeks before that they had gotten probably an unwarranted pass. Because the Seahawks at home, the Seahawks are an explosive offense. The Rams, it was the Rams at home. The Rams were one of the best offenses in the league. The
And you're-
Giants, though?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a perfect place to start. Let's take a look at the Giants' offense. We had a lot going on this week. They put up 434 yards
Look
on
at
offense.
us. Look at
What?
us.
When has that happened all year? We have
Never.
Sterling Shepard, one of the healthy receivers that is back, a part of your starting core that
Yeah.
I'm just
played
picturing-
extremely well. He had 11 receptions. He himself had many yards.
I'm just picturing
11 receptions with a lot of yards.
Oh, yes, he had 139 yards on 11 receptions. There it is. One of them being a 67-yard touchdown, which we will show. We have the clip.
If
we'll
you
roll
insist.
that if we insist, because we got to give the Giants credit where credit's due. Especially against, again, this Eagles defense, which has been so dynamic. I mean, you guys are #1 at stopping
There
the
was
run.
no one around him.
But that's the thing. There was some wide open receptions during this game.
I mean, that's a drag. That's a
Simple drag route.
3-yard drag route. And he took it to the house.
All right, Josh, very important question.
Yes.
How are you feeling on the swag level of that touchdown celebration?
The swag level was
Yeah.
at, I would say, about an 82.
Well, that's high.
Oh, so we're going out of 100.
Because listen,
Like 82 out of 10, that's
it's like a
big
3-yard
rating.
drag route, and it's nice to have a playmaker. I forgot what it felt like to have a playmaker on
Yeah.
offense. And yeah, I mean, that was just terrible defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It was. I gave him maybe
Eli.
2 because of the dance at the end.
Right, so a lot of these receivers were wide open on the day. I mean, Sterling Shepard we know is great, but for Tavares King to be wide open and Roger Lewis getting all of those. Exactly. Several weeks ago we were all saying who. Now we should at least know a little bit of who they are, considering that is the
No, you shouldn't.
Giants receiver.
So the assumption that we're watching Giants games.
But Eli having a good day. 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception, but that's kind of vintage Eli. For the 3 touchdowns, we gotta get 1 interception.
That
there.
ratio is too good.
And Orleans Darko with a rushing touchdown. And they said this during the game, which I thought was crazy. This is the first rushing touchdown by a running back for the Giants all season. So
By a running back?
By a running back,
That's
yes.
not true.
At the running
There's
back
no way
position.
that's true.
They said
Darko
during
has
the
a couple-
game.
He's had to have some touchdowns.
Darko has a couple touchdowns.
I think so.
Or maybe he's the only running back to score a
Yes.
rushing touchdown.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
then I know that Eli had some in there, so
He had 2 rushing touchdowns.
yeah, so it's Eli
is
and
weird.
Darko, the only running back score.
Yeah, because
The
Gauntlet
only backfield score.
doesn't have a...
The
So
backfield rushing
So
touchdown.
then the fact that you guys allowed 29 points from the Giants, how much is the defense a concern for you going forward in the playoffs?
I think these 3 weeks, so this week and then the next 2 weeks, I always thought this was a retooling period, not a rehabbing, not a just like a tweaking period. I thought Foles would be a bigger problem, and I thought that would be the thing, or quarterback and or Foles in the quarterback position would be a huge problem for the next 3 weeks that we would have to wait and see. And as best case scenarios, we actually had a chance to do that. Foles is not as big a problem as our defense. You know, the good thing is we all know that's the problem. So that they've been fixing, like, I guarantee you they spent all day today trying to fix that problem. The defense is a problem. You need to stop more passes. You need to stop more runs. You need to get to the quarterback more. Fundamental defense.
I love
So
how
I'm
simple you're making this. You need to stop passes. Like you're scolding your child. You need to pick up your clothes and put them in the dirty laundry.
so if the quarterback throws the football and the receiver catches
It's
it,
not called a foosball?
no, it's a football. But like,
Pass the pigskin.
but I'm not as concerned about our defense as pundits on television are. Of like, this is it, they're done. Foles can kind of right the ship, but the defense is bad. It's like the defense. There's a good defense there. We've seen it. It's got us
Absolutely.
this far. They need to find it again.
Yep.
So I think that's why I'm scolding them like a child who knows better.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's like I would understand if you're 2 and I'm trying to ask you to pick up your clothes. Like, that's ridiculous.
No, that's a really good point, though,
They're a
because this
12-year-old
Eagles
and you're,
defense is really good. So to see them perform like that against the Giants, I mean, maybe it's just the tension of the rivalry and the Giants wanting to stick it to the Eagles if they're going to bring it to any team.
The 3rd week of a road trip, like, this is the 3rd road game in a row. I know Meadowlands isn't that far.
Right.
But, like, maybe that's a part of it. Maybe
Okay.
there's a little complacency because we did win the NFC East last week. Maybe there's
Okay.
a little turmoil within the team of, like, how sure are we that Nick Foles is the guy? There's a lot of reasons. I'm not here for excuses. I'm here for results.
There we go.
I'm John Taffer
So,
somehow.
well, I mean, there's still plenty of hope with this Eagles defense. We have Ronald Darby interception on Eli Manning, the 1 to the 3. But the Eagles have 17 total interceptions on this year. So again, they do have a really good defense. So I don't know if we need to get crazy about it.
Well, they're very opportunistic.
Yeah.
I mean, some
good with that.
defenses, I'm not putting the Eagles in this category, but there are a lot of defense who turn the ball over, but they're still not good defense, if that make any sense. Like every once in a
No,
while-
that like sometimes offenses shoot
Like a
themselves.
flicker, but 17 interceptions
Yeah,
on the
like
year?
like
That's
the
pretty
Tampa
good.
Bay
A lot of
Bucks
bad
turned the
teams
ball.
this
The
year.
Tampa Bay Bucks turned the ball over a lot, but their defense is terrible. Does that make sense?
No, that makes complete sense.
They give up a lot of points. They're probably one of the worst pass defenses in the league. They don't get to the quarterback, but every once in a while they'll turn the ball over. They have, I think they have like a nice turnover.
And it'll be like a bit of a
ratio.
stat thing. By the way,
Their D-backs are so good at returning the ball, though.
once a year, at the very least once a year, I get to go to the Dave & Buster's by my house and have 3 cups of coffee and watch 8 football games
that-
at the same
Why
time.
do you have 3 cups of coffee?
It's
That's so
10 a.m. on a
many.
Sunday morning.
Which Dave & Buster's is by your house?
The one on Highland.
Oh,
Well, now everyone
I'm
knows
thinking
my
back-
neighborhood.
I'm thinking back east.
All 3 people.
I was thinking back in Philadelphia. Good one by the Ben Franklin Bridge.
But there was probably a lot of entertainment in watching me watch this play. Because at that point you're down 7-20 and
Yeah.
you have the ball in your hand.
Yep.
I want you to get in there. Don't give our offense a chance to not score. Just get in there if you can get in there.
So do you think Foles having a good game is more of the Giants being a bad defense, or their season basically over? Or is it Foles actually?
I divert back to my my mitten analogy.
Perfect.
He
I
fits-
did not get enough of that.
He fit our offense this week like a mitten. In time, I hope he fits like a glove. That's it.
In time, you have 2 weeks. Is
yeah,
that enough time for him
3
to
weeks?
If you get the bye week.
We have three. We have
stretch
the, bye
the
week.
mitten into his fingers?
We definitely have the bye week. It's whether we have the first or the second seed. So, I think if he wasn't a championship caliber quarterback, we would have seen it this week. He is clearly 3 touchdowns in the NFL, especially against. Let's be fair, the Giants' defense aren't like
4 touchdowns.
Oh, sorry, 4.
4
like,
touchdowns,
no
0
picks.
interceptions. Exactly.
Like-
He honestly put up Wentz-like performance. I feel like there was a time where I almost forgot that it was Nick Foles for a second. Like I looked down at my phone, I look up, I'm like, oh, Wentz just scored. Oh, wait, no, that's not Wentz. That's Nick Foles.
I think the scoreboard is what made it clear that it was not Carson Wentz because he had a lot of opportunity. Like it's not like every drive he was successful. That's a Carson Wentz. That's more or less Carson Wentz as we've established this year. Whereas Nick Foles, he had a lot of failed drives, and that's why we were 34-29. And I don't want to put too much. I don't want to put too much against the Philadelphia defense because they did force. I guess it's all special teams. Never mind.
Three blocks.
Three
They
blocks, but
blocked
that-
every single thing they could have. A punt, a field goal, and an extra
But that's
point.
kind of special teams more than defense. So I guess I have to
Yeah.
stand by my initial pick that it's the defense.
No, the special
Or
teams did awesome on
The special
Sunday.
teams did real well.
They
The
really-
special teams really kept this game a winning game because it's a close game. It's a close game. You don't want them to have the football with seconds left. You don't want it to be a 1-score game. But blocking it and like making it 6-0 from the start, that just felt really good.
So the regular season, you guys will be fine. I mean, you're already clinched the playoff berth, so you're going, but you
We
still
clinched the
can
week
win
one
out.
bye.
Yes, everything,
That's
exactly.
huge.
Oakland, you should easily win. If the Cowboys can win, I'm sure you guys can run through them with ease, and we
know.
will talk
NFL's
about that
weird.
ridiculous Cowboys game. And then you guys have us, which is up in the air. I'm not going to say you're going to run through us because that's my team, and I think we can do it.
And
You don't have
depending
Zeke.
on
We have a chance.
We will
got
have Zeke
Zeke
back.
We can do it,
but-
guys.
and depending on
Let's go.
Minnesota, we might not have any reason to play.
Oh, okay. Well, to stop us from getting to the playoffs, that's definitely an Eagles or an NFC East team move
could see that.
to do.
I could see it happen.
Going hard just to stop the
least in the
Cowboys from
first
making the
half.
playoffs.
Our bench
that's
can
a
do that.
Definite.
Our bench can handle that light work.
Wow.
Oh no! But let's be very
Okay.
clear, and I'm on record right this second. As an Eagles fan, I do not want us to play any starters in Week 16 if we've clinched the number 1 seed. If Minnesota
so they have a
loses and we
first-
win,
So they're not playing Week 17, and they're having a first-round bye. So they're not playing then for 2 weeks with no football game. Don't you think that that's going to kind of mess up the
A
momentum?
team that just lost his quarterback to torn ACL? Yes, I think they'll rest. Yes, I think they will.
I want to be on record. I want to be on record that I don't want to see starters for the majority of the game in Week 16 if we've already locked up the 1 seed.
I think your coach will agree with you.
I think
I
everyone
think
with
so.
a mind with a group. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Jenna, I know you're a Cowboys fan, but they,
Do you know that?
yeah, listen,
Breaking
they don't.
news.
They're not going to be like we have to we have to keep them out.
They're
They
the
don't
biggest
care.
threat in the
They're
playoffs.
taking.
No.
They're going to take
I-
care of themselves.
I think that they hate us enough.
no.
Like,
Not that
No.
much.
well, no,
Not
The
to the
fans.
extent
The
of-
fans.
I mean, we didn't do
Not
it
to
to
the
them
extent
last
of
year.
Minnesota.
we do, but like, we have depth in our team that we don't need to start everyone. We don't need to start all
no,
our starters
you
on Week
guys are right.
16 if
We
we
didn't
lock
do
up
it
the
to you
1
guys
seed.
last year. It was the same position, and we started Mark Sanchez.
You
and
played Tony Romo.
Yeah, exactly. Romo got in there. He had his last touchdown of
Yeah.
his career. So.
The rivalries between the fans, it really is. I mean, the teams, they might hate each other a little bit more because they have to see each other twice a year, and then you see the same players over and over again. But it's the fans that really hate each other. It's not so much the teams.
And as I've established, it's more
Yeah.
one-sided. Eagles
Yeah.
fans hate Cowboys fans more than the other way
Oh,
around.
yeah, absolutely.
If anything, Cowboys fans hate Eagles fans because Eagles hate Cowboys fans. It's actually a perpetual rivalry. We don't know how it started.
Just being the same.
I mean,
It's getting way deeper.
Let's go back to the roots of time. That's for another show. So heading into the playoff then, with your defense, with Nick Foles, what NFC team are you the most fearful of seeing?
I have to be fearful of the Seahawks because they.
Really?
But
still?
they're not even technically
In
in,
the
it
I
yet.
know, but I'm saying if
They
you're talking,
might not make it.
but like they're the only team we've faced head to head and got beaten by. They're
not the
one of-
Vikings, not the Saints.
Panthers, Falcons,
We've
Should
beaten
we
the
go down this
We've
NFC
beaten the
list?
Panthers.
The
only-
We've beaten the Rams.
Vikings. How you feel about them?
We haven't faced the Vikings. If we're ranking
On a
it
scale
for,
of 1 to 10, how
How
fearful
confident?
are you of them?
they have to get to like, they have to make it 2 weeks like we have to make it 2 weeks. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see what happens. Like, and that's like, if you're asking me who I'm most fearful of, I'm most fearful of the teams that have already faced us. And of the teams that have already faced us that are in the playoff hunt, only one of them have beaten us, and that's the Seattle Seahawks.
They're a different team now, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I agree. No, I agree. And also, they'd have to come. If the Seattle Seahawks do make the playoffs as of this moment, they would have to, whether we were the 1 or the 2 seed, they would have to come to Philadelphia to face us.
That's huge.
So, like, that's huge.
All
That's
the games
huge.
will
That
be
is a
fun.
completely different team, and you're right. It's already a completely different team from
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
I like Minnesota a lot. I mean, I know we're not doing a NFL, like a general NFL show, but I
You're
like.
seeing them go into the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
I like Minnesota a lot.
It'd be a great
I do.
story.
That would. Can you imagine
Yeah.
Case Keenum?
Can you
as
imagine
the
a home game?
quarterback
Yeah,
Could you imagine
in
a
the Super
home game
Bowl?
Super Bowl?
Yeah,
I don't.
that's
After his career, after last year,
just really like 'em.
everything.
I just think they're so complete. I mean, the way Case is playing, it's they
They
have
do deserve
playmakers
it,
If there's any
honestly.
semblance of
at
the
every
NFL,
position. Every position they have playmakers. Case is playing well, and they have the best defense in the league in my mind.
And the fans deserve it. That's
And they might have and they might have home field advantage. The
Yeah.
only way they lose is if Case Keenum has a vintage Case Keenum game from last year, and
Which could
Jeff
happen.
Fisher's
I feel
not
like
really-
at this point in the
walking the
season,
talk.
we're almost now like we're just waiting for the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure D'Angelo absolutely
yeah.
is at this point.
So,
You know,
like-
you want the entertainment value. Do you see the
Minnesota
lineup
has
for the
beaten the
games
Seahawks?
this weekend coming up? I mean,
I'm
Those
trying
are
to
boring
I'm trying to
games.
figure out why Minnesota would have would have the tiebreaker over us if we've never faced them. Minnesota has beaten the Seahawks.
That's a good question. I'll check up.
I'm
on
pretty
There
sure
you
because
go.
that would be
Josh,
the only
do
way
the
they.
research.
Because I
I'll do it.
remember we've had the same record and they were the 1 seed over us, and I think that's the tiebreaker is if they have a head-to-head win over somebody who's
Right.
lost us.
Common
Strength
opponents.
of schedule, too.
They beat the Rams.
Or they beat Kansas City. If they would have had to have beaten Seattle
you know
or
what?
Kansas City.
Actually, you guys would have it because they lost to Carolina. You beat Carolina.
But it's a lot of variables in the tiebreak. Strength of schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
no.
not just head to head.
Is it? But like, wouldn't head to? Well, it's
I think-
tie then head to head then.
record against the
I
conference?
think their loss to Carolina.
Oh, is it conference record?
Yeah.
But we're
Yes, a couple of them.
Well, they lost 2 games in conference.
where
Lost how many?
we lost one.
One. You lost. Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Because we beat
So
Kansas City.
you would
with
have-
their
you would have
FC.
the
We'll
tiebreaker.
see.
Or
You
lost to
still got the
Kansas City.
Cowboys
but
coming up.
You'd have the tiebreaker.
Still, we'll
this
see.
is the
It'll
type of
change
stuff that
by
it's
week
like,
17.
I'll just
it
say-
becomes like
I don't
math
actually
in a
know.
sense.
Yeah, we'll
And
see week
even-
17 what
right.
happens.
I don't
And
actually
even-
know the
Too many
tiebreaker
things to
procedures.
speculate.
Like that's good to know.
Yeah.
I assumed it was because we lost to Seattle and that Minnesota beat Seattle, but I'm not actually sure that happened.
It becomes so ridiculous and
couple of
mathematical
things.
that I just want to wait. I mean, I know what the Cowboys need to do to get in there and what has to happen around the NFC, but it's at the point where I'm kind of just like, all right, let's see where the chips fall.
Just win. Just
Oh,
win.
Win
just
first,
win.
and then worry about
It comes down to us ultimately.
Yeah.
But anything else on the Eagles before we move on to the Raiders-Cowboys game?
Just the defense and
Mm-hmm.
that if things are bad, they're not terrible because we're already in the playoffs. We can already
Mm-hmm.
win. And I just want to brag right now. I got into my playoffs in fantasy football as a 6th seed. And I'm in the finals right this second.
Ow!
Stop hands.
Might be a
Against
little
the-
bit different than fantasy. Do you guys see
But
the
it's the
Eagles?
same idea that if you have a chip in a chair, if you have a playoff berth,
He got his
I'm a
motivation
Giants
speeches
fan.
ready.
I know exactly what he's talking about. Sneaking in the playoffs 2 years and winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So.
like it's a thing. Like
Well,
it's a
you
thing
wouldn't be
if you.
sneaking as a 1 seed, but I get your
Yeah.
point. Yes.
You're
No,
in
but what
there.
I'm saying is
Home
like
field
the
advantage.
Yeah.
Also,
First week
also
bye.
the best comment I heard this week, I believe it was from Ike Reese on the Eagles postgame show, which is this isn't college. There's no style points. A win's a win.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't
We
matter
beat
how
the Giants.
ugly.
We won
and-
against the Giants.
Facts. Yep.
We've won 12 times.
Right.
We're one
And
of the
only
best
certain
teams in the
people will
league.
go back and remember.
We have lost 12 times.
There are no style points
That's
to losing
music.
either.
That's music.
The style
to my
points is that
ears.
number 2 draft pick.
That's beautiful.
Y'all should just play for the one.
All right,
too late.
Eagles
The Browns
Giants
got you beat.
game. Different than we expected, but entertaining.
Yes.
But we're going to move on to a game that was interesting, to say the least.
And lit like a horror film.
This is Cowboys
game.
Raiders. This is a primetime Sunday night football game for the first half. I almost wanted to turn it off, but I couldn't because it was my team, and obviously I'm going to watch. This is a do-or-die playoff game for us, but this just turned into ridiculousness. Did you guys see everything that went down in this game? So yeah, Juliet, sorry we passed that Eagles highlight. Let's go ahead and pull up that Derek Carr fumble with seconds left for
Heath,
them.
man, he's saving your season.
Jeff Heath, the most unsuspecting person. This is somebody who didn't even start for us.
Jeff Heath.
This is his first year starting at safety.
Yeah.
He was special teams his entire career with the Cowboys. Last year, coming in clutch with some
He's having a really good year.
massive plays. So we're going to pull this up. This is Derek Carr on a 3rd and 3, third down, 30 seconds left. Opportunity
Got the first down. Got the first down.
to win the game here. And Jeff Heath makes such an incredible athletic hustle play on this. I was so impressed by him.
So is the narrative here all about Jeff Heath on that play?
No, it's also David Carr.
But like you're talking his toes. If his toes were in a different place after he made that, or before he made that leap, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like this is just one of those teeny tiny blade of grass kind
If
of
his
plays.
toes were in another...
Literally, like if
unlucky.
he has one more leap, he can get the ball into the end zone before he
And
fumbles it.
I
Hey, he
know
could have
he's-
actually ran out of bounds and ran the next
Yeah,
play.
or he made it
Yeah.
to the, like
That
he made it to
too.
the out of bounds, the clock stops, and
But
then
it's
they kick a
unlucky.
field
I mean,
goal.
that's
Like
instincts, you know? You're going to reach for the goalpost
Yeah.
and see it.
This is one of those nail-biting moments for me. I'm like, no, he's going to score a touchdown. Jeff Heath pushes him out, and then they call a touchback, which I didn't know necessarily was going to happen at first. I was like, what? Cowboys ball? Our game? We're going to kneel? We get the ball back. We
But
win.
I'm saying, like, if he had made that dive literally a toe sooner, it would have gone out of bounds at the
Right,
one.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
if he had made it a toe later, it would have been a
this
touchdown.
is
It's a
one of
blade
the-
of grass play.
Y'all got lucky, Jenna.
No,
Y'all got
this
lucky.
is one of the many
Twice.
examples, like 17 times, honestly. This is one of the many examples in this game where luck was just on our side. I mean, the 4th and 1 where Dak ran and he had that QB sneak, which we're going to pull up the little
brought an index
folded
card.
paper
Damn it. Oh, God, this-
that was a
measuring the
missed
measurement tool. I mean, this just should be used in every NFL game going forward.
I didn't even know that was a
It's
thing.
so
I didn't know that
ridiculous.
was a thing either.
No, it's never been a thing.
I love
This
his
has
smirk
never
when he
happened
comes back
before.
up. I know we're going to show it.
Oh,
When he
we're
comes
just
back
like,
up, he's like,
it's a-
Yeah, we're going to show
Like,
a clip.
come
We're
on,
going to
man.
cue it up.
But at this point, it's like a balls and strikes thing, to be very honest. Like, this first down marker, because I didn't know that was the rule. Like, usually you would have to determine that the ball somehow crossed the plane of the chains.
If I was a Raiders
and,
fan, I
like,
would have been pissed.
If you can fit an index card in between the goalposts and the football, doesn't that mean it's short? I'm still confused by this. Like, if he could fit it
If
in
he can fit it,
between-
doesn't mean that it was the first. I mean, his whole defense was, I didn't actually need the index
Don't
card.
bring it out in front of a
I
million
just
cameras,
used it to
you idiot.
confirm what I already saw, and that's that the ball was touching the stick, the marker, and that it was a first down. I'm like, then why pull out the paper? Why
makes
pull
you
out
look
the
really
index card?
foolish.
But I was hysterically laughing being a fan because this means we get it. But if I was a Raiders fan, I'd be so pissed
Hold on.
off.
And here's what I mean by how this is a balls and strikes scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Because that spot where the ball is,
That's
that
short.
It looks short to me.
A,
short.
it's short.
Okay.
B, that was to a certain extent arbitrarily placed by a referee.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
no computer
Yeah.
decides where that ball
Oh,
goes.
every time.
No
I
one,
know.
no one actually
Every
ever
time a
talks about
refer-
that.
yeah, like a ref- it's
and the
both
people who
balls
move the
and strikes.
chains, like you could move over an inch or two just naturally, just by holding the chain and
Error
stuff.
there, yeah.
But
So,
like,
well,
it's a human error.
Yeah.
It's a human error level that it's just it's a part of the
face. I
game.
love his
Yes,
face.
it's so good.
Just like,
okay,
why?
And Jason Witten smacks him in the butt, like, way to go, bro.
So take a good hard look at that ref's face because that was the ref that called the Dez no catch in our Green
Oh,
Bay
come
Packers.
on! Stop it! Stop it!
This is that
Stop
ref.
it! No, what does that matter? Why does that matter?
It
a
matters
Cowboy
because
fan
it's
means a lot.
crazy that he has never refed a Cowboys game in 3 years. The last Cowboys game that he refed was when he called the Dez Bryant. Dez caught it no catch to make us lose a playoff game against the Packers in 2014.
Who cares?
Okay, I'm not saying that I care. Just saying, is that interesting? You guys don't think that that's
Nope.
funny?
I
This is
can't
the-
find one interest in that at all.
What?
Also,
This is the
NFL.
first game this ref has called in 3 years, and how ironic is that? It's like he's turning the table saying, I got you guys
His first
this
game
time.
in 3
Oh,
years.
that's
the
what you think it was?
Cowboy
No.
game
First
in 3.
Cowboys
You think he
game.
had the index card in his back pocket? Like, I'm gonna use this
you
today.
see that smirk? He's like,
this
you see that smirk?
somehow.
He's like, I'm not gonna mess it up again for you boys. I got
That's
you.
not-
I don't
I'ma
believe
use
that.
this.
To change the subject,
I thought it was
NFL.
funny and
Couldn't find
ironic.
one interest in
Okay.
that.
NFL, there's already RFIDs in your football. We already know this. Use them.
Are there?
Yeah, they put RFIDs in the football so that I think it's either the booth upstairs or the booth in New York can actually track where the footballs are on the field at all times.
God, why are they using this? This is.
But like, why aren't they using
Yeah,
it
I
for
agree.
first downs?
I agree.
Because that would be the easiest way to track. If you could literally track the placement of the football, I think they've been playing with this for about 2 to 5 years.
I'm surprised they haven't had like the
That like we're
technology to do
literally either they're deciding that this is an umpire level balls and strikes kind of a moment,
Right.
Or they haven't perfected this technology to a point where they can just arbitrarily and digitally say the ball broke the plane because we have an RFID chip in the
It
ball.
hurts my mind. But all I know is this game came down to whoever sucked less, and it was a game of gifts for us. So the Raiders missed a field goal. That's the only reason we even won. It would have been tied. It would have went into overtime, regardless of Carr fumbling on that.
And the me that was starting Dak
touchdown.
Prescott
Anyway.
in fantasy, who ultimately won but could have used the points, wanted us to go into overtime.
Dak really didn't have a great game.
He did hit a terrible
Our
game.
passing offense has just been in shambles since Zeke has been out.
Dak
honestly,
is probably the happiest person that Zeke's coming back.
So do you think it's going to change, though?
Two
with Zeke back?
interceptions. But my thing about Dak is every time he makes a mistake, there's always an excuse for it to not be entirely his fault, but
Yeah.
it still happened. And
I
that
agree.
doesn't settle right with me. Like, oh, he got hit on that interception and he kind of was falling back on his back foot and he kind of lobbed it in the air. Oh, everyone's saying around me, it's not really his fault. I'm like, yeah, but it still happens. And he's kind of doing this. And a lot of his passes seem to be inaccurate. And I love him. I want to defend him. It's only his second year in the league, but our passing game is not there, man. And it's concerning.
This is a blessing in disguise for Dak in that, this is something he can work on during the offseason. Zeke's coming back so they can go back to form. But I think no quarterback really gets this opportunity to really see, okay, this is what I have to work on in my game. The team's still behind you. You're going to have your job next year. So, I just think it's just something he has to progress in. He's a fourth-round guy still.
That's a really good point, that they're supportive of him. They know that he's still the #1 guy, and they're saying, okay, these are your learning kinks, and we're going to get through this, and we're still behind you.
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to hear that he's a bust thrower to a certain extent, instead of just I threw the football and it got intercepted.
Right.
Therefore, it's my responsibility.
Right.
But this happened. But it is.
I know there is that, but there's also you don't want that to always be the case.
But it's also fortunate that whether he's a bust thrower or not, the narrative is going to be, whether they make the playoffs or not, the narrative is going to be, they were playing well with Zeke and then Zeke went away.
Yeah, always.
That's going to be this year's narrative for the Dallas Cowboys. If they make the postseason, it's going to be, oh my God, the tides have turned, they're coming back. If they don't make the playoffs, it's, oh well, they lost Zeke. They had all those losses because they didn't have Zeke.
Well, listen,
and it's a sophomore quarterback.
Give them credit, though. I mean, they did lose 3 in a row with Zeke to start off the
Yeah, and they
suspension, but then they
changed the
won
path.
3 in a row, and then Dak found ways to win. I mean, I don't think he didn't have a good game last game, but
No,
game before that he was okay. Like he's been okay.
The wins have honestly come down to mostly our defense, holding their own and actually
Sean Lee's
playing very
back.
well. Our special team, we had a punt return touchdown the other day, blocked punts. Our special teams playing well. Sean Lee coming back. Our defense.
They found ways. You got to give the Cowboys credit. I hate saying that, but they could have easily folded after losing 3 in a row.
I thought the season was a fold after those 3 games. You're exactly right. I thought, okay, this is the foreshadowing of what the rest of the season is going to be like. But they made some adjustments that have really worked out, which is good. Good to see. And I don't know if you guys caught on that Jason Witten first down that was on the 3rd down that Jack Del Rio challenged, and they refuted his challenge, and they said that it was a first down. It so was not. That was not even close at all. That's what I'm saying. Gifts this game.
Sometimes you got to pay the refs off. That's what you got to do, man.
That's
saying,
Merca.
Guys, I'm just putting out the list of why this ref is coming back to us because he called the Dez caught it no catch.
That's
So hold
You're
on.
refusing to see the conspiracy.
There's no
theory.
conspiracy.
that's not even.
I
a
am
little.
so anti-sports conspiracy. When someone brings up a sports conspiracy,
It's
I
rigged.
lose my mind. I go
It's
crazy.
rigged.
I hate it. I hate it. I want to ask you though. You're playing
Okay.
Seattle next week.
Yeah.
Playoff game.
Yeah.
It's an absolute playoff game.
Yeah.
do you
Okay,
feel?
so I always said this, the weeks leading up, that Seattle is beatable. And I think Zeke coming back is huge, not just for his talent, for his run game, but for our offense working together and getting back into the mindset that is our offense, the balance in the attack. And hopefully, we love throwing the screen pass to Zeke. Hopefully the passing game comes back alive with him. However, what concerns me is the timing that we're seeing Seattle, because they're off of these 2 huge rough losses. Jacksonville at home and the demoralization from the Rams. So they're either going to be super hungry because they're still fighting for the playoffs too, or they're deflated. So this could work in our favor or it could not, but the timing makes me nervous.
I think if the Cowboys just come to play, they're going to win. Because I think even if the Seahawks come to play, I think Dallas is the better team.
Because what was the
Sean
final
Lee's
score
back.
of that Rams
I mean,
Seahawks game?
it was
43-7?
humiliating.
They're not
But
going
they-
to take that lightly and come back and...
But I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't have the talent to compete with. That's the thing. Like a lot of people, are like, oh, they're gonna come out strong. Well, if your team's not that good, because I don't think Seahawks are that good. I think it's just Russell Wilson, to be honest with you, and their defense is shot. They're all injured. So who does Russell have right now? He doesn't have anyone crazy weapons on offense at all.
Okay.
They have no run game. They have no line. They have average wide receivers at best. Their defense is depleted. They're not a good team right now.
Yeah,
it's
but Russell
really
Wilson's
just
really, really good.
That's
He's
it.
an
But
MVP candidate.
he's the only.
the only type of the Rams defense or the Rams had a really strong D-line. You have to get pressure on him.
Yes,
That's
true.
not the Cowboys' strength.
No, but the Cowboys defense has
We
been
have a
playing
good
better.
pass rush. We have a good
but it's
defensive
not.
line.
It's not
It's
Rams.
not the
It's not Rams
Rams.
pass rush.
No.
But
Yeah,
it's
you know,
still.
it's not better than the Eagles, and look what
Right,
Russell
but
Wilson did to the Eagles.
I think the Cowboys are a significantly better team now that
with Zeke.
with Zeke back, with Sean Lee back, they're a significantly better team. I think if both teams come to play, the Cowboys win by 10, 14 points.
It really depends which Cowboys team shows up,
It-
honestly.
I'm not worried about whether the Seahawks show up. It's does Dallas show
What's
up?
Zeke been
And
doing
if
on
that answers
suspension, man?
yes,
Is he
they're
in
going to win.
shape?
Period.
Like, I almost feel like more has to happen in the Cowboys' favor, like a little bit of luck, or the Seahawks to play a little bit badly. You know?
Really? I don't.
Yeah, I think if it's
I don't at
I think
all.
you're way too low on the Seahawks.
I don't.
I gotta be honest.
They're not the same team that we think of them as. They're not.
They're not, but they're
Actually,
still a good football
I
team.
think
I'm gonna
They're
check.
not. They're not Super Bowl.
They're
gonna
contenders.
check a sports book
I
at
think
this
they're.
point. I think this is
they're
a pick 'em.
average. I think they're a little above average. I don't think they're that good. I think
And then
it's
the
all.
Cowboys are not.
I think no.
It's
I think the
the Cowboys,
Cowboys.
yeah.
And it's on the road.
The
Cowboys
Cowboys,
are my
they have
concern
Zeke. They have
here.
Zeke back. They
Yeah.
have Sean Lee back. I think. Listen, going into the season, we thought the Cowboys were contenders for the Super Bowl, and I don't know if I think that anymore. But I do think that they're a legitimate playoff team when they're all healthy. I think they're significantly better than the Seahawks. Significantly.
We'll see.
We can move
He's
on to
pulling
the
up the
we can
odds.
move on to the
Yeah.
we can move on to the Redskins, but for predictions, I'm gonna have sportsbook odds because I am
Okay.
curious.
Well, in order, I mean, it all comes down to also what else happens around the league.
Right.
So the Lions have to lose once, and one of the top 3 NFC South teams have to lose twice. So I can focus in on the Cowboys as much as I want, which I do. It all comes down to them. Like, nothing else matters if we don't play extremely well and we win and we get to the playoffs on our own. But there's still so much that has to happen, which I don't know if the Panthers or the Saints are going to lose
Well, they're playing
twice.
each other, but losing twice will be hard.
I could see the Falcons or the Panthers possibly doing it. I don't see the Saints losing twice. And the Falcons really messed me up last night with the win over Tampa Bay due to
Don't
a
count on
missed
Tampa Bay.
field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was so close. That would have been at least one on the trail to the playoffs. So a lot has to happen for the
If
Cowboys
I'm a
here.
Falcons fan. I'm a little worried. I don't like the way the Falcons look. Even though they won yesterday, they don't like the way they looked at all. Their offense just doesn't seem to be clicking.
These are division games. It's just like I feel like the rules are broken. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's just different.
Exactly.
They played the Bucks. It's
Yeah.
a team they play every year twice. Like the Falcons, but to your defense, like the Falcons are a very inconsistent team. Period.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So reason to be hopeful, but it's still like so many things have to happen. But
Yeah.
whew, that Seattle
and
game.
Detroit-
I think it'd be a great game. Though.
If Seattle had won one out of those last 2 games, I'd feel better. For some reason, seeing a team off of 2 really bad losses against the Cowboys makes me a little bit nervous.
You don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Just saying.
We don't. That's what you're saying? You know what? Who cares if we deserve it or not? If we get there, we kind
I'm
of
just
do
a
deserve
hater.
it
I'm
because we
salty,
got
that's
there. You
all.
are a hater.
Look, I'm
So
just
let's talk
hating,
about
bro.
what you're hating on then. Let's bring up some Redskins
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Cardinals. What did you hate about this game besides everything?
I have to be honest. I've watched very little of this football game.
Yeah.
I wanted us to lose one because what's the point of winning?
Oof.
But I mean, let's get a draft pick at this point. I don't know. I don't have much opinions. It's kind of the same narrative.
This game was a mess.
Yeah,
It was
it's
a
just
mess.
like who
we
played
had this
worse?
little like turnover montage here.
Because it's not
It's
like
like
the Cardinals played good. This was,
No, they played horrible, and so did we, and we just so
Yeah.
happened to play less as bad.
Blaine Gabbert. That was horrible. 16 out of 41.
Disgusting.
That what?
Pretty bad game.
That's a bad game. So they're starting Staten again next week. So
Probably a good idea.
Gabbert's little flash of hope is gone after this week. Yeah. So we have a Gabbert interception. Here that is, and then turns right around. And next we're gonna see a Vernon Davis fumble. Like this was just turnover after
They stopped playing
turnover.
last week. The Chargers game, I was like, oh yeah, you guys
Yeah,
aren't playing football
yeah.
anymore. Good to know.
It's over.
No, that's
Just checking them.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys heard what Josh Norman said. He was just like, just one expressing his frustration with the organization, but just like, if we're not here to go for championships, I came for championships. Like, if we're not doing that, what's the point? And I mean, why'd you come to Redskins for
Guys,
championships?
I have a feeling that DeAnjilo didn't watch our show last week.
Oh yeah, we
I did not.
Because we most definitely talked
Yeah.
about that.
I definitely.
Oh, with Josh Norman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a big discussion.
I have a hot take on off-season stuff.
All right,
Okay.
Because Eli's not staying a Giant.
He's not going. Do
He's-
not tell me he's going.
Well,
You mean
here's
the Cardinals? 'Cause you're not
well,
talking
I do
about
gonna
the,
say
Jaguar,
Washington.
the
Where
Jaguars
are we
don't
going?
need him
They don't
anymore.
want him.
The Jaguars don't need him. We've been saying the Jaguars for a while, but I think the Jaguars have proven they have their own.
Denver.
Denver's coming up. Denver would love a Manning. But I honestly think the most Washington Redskins thing I can think of
don't.
is that they would let
disagree.
Kirk Cousins go because they can't afford him, and then get Eli, who they also can't afford.
No, I tell you what they're gonna do. The Redskins.
Why would they?
Yeah, that makes no
that
sense.
Doesn't even.
Well,
It's not
here's
even
what I-
six.
Here's what I've been hearing though, a little bit of, at least at my job and like guys who are like, kind of close to the Redskins, that if they don't bring back Colt McCoy, Kirk Cousins.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Wow,
No.
you're already jumping
But this
down
is what
to
I'm.
the back.
That is related
Yeah.
to what I was about to say. There is a thought that there's not that big of a difference between what Kirk Cousins does and what Colt McCoy does.
That's ridiculous.
And the price
No.
tag is quite different.
That's
And
So is
some
the
zeros
play.
and ones
I
right
think
there.
the quality of play
maybe
is
for you
very
guys on the
different,
outside in
too.
who don't watch us like as regularly, but like the times we've seen Colt McCoy come in, he's produced rather well. He doesn't stay nearly as healthy.
I haven't seen him play
No,
an entire season long.
Is that what
He
it is?
doesn't
It's health.
say-
It's health.
In
Is that
the
what it
same
He doesn't stay nearly as healthy as
situation.
Kirk Cousins does, but from the
Against the-
standpoint of what would be produced from a full NFL season, I feel like it'd be pretty much the same, and they'd save a lot of money.
That is a Moneyball
With
play.
this
Yeah.
That
off-
we can't see.
We're
See
going
Kirk
to be
Cousins.
7-9. I don't think that may be the ceiling with Colt McCoy, but what's the point in?
I think if Colt McCoy was a starting quarterback for the Redskins this whole season with the 2017 Redskins offensive line, he would not project the same amount of play,
I agree.
amount of numbers,
But if you
completions
bring
as
a
Kirk
Colt,
at
not that
all.
I'm like defending it, but like if you
Yeah.
bring a Colt McCoy in, then you can get more of those weapons that Kirk Cousins needed. You sign Kirk Cousins to $36 million, you're not bringing in those receivers
I
that he
think
needs.
Kirk had the weapons this year, just didn't work out. They had Jordan Reed, he got hurt. You thought Jamison Crowder was going to be a number one. You got Terrell Pryor, you thought he was going to be a number one or a number two. They drafted Josh Doxson. They
You
had
just
the
named
weapons.
three guys who have not had good seasons or have not played.
That's what I'm saying.
They're
That's
gonna
what I'm
pay-
saying.
So that's
They
a lot of
had the
ifs.
weapons.
But
That's
in
a
your
lot
mind-
of ifs, and you're gonna.
They're
so
gonna
you're
pay
saying-
$52
But
You're
million
saying
for
go
Eli.
into next season with the
Fire
same
their
idea of
weapons.
trying to do the same thing. That makes no
I'm
sense.
saying that fell flat this season. But they did go out and they tried to get the weapons for Kirk.
All they did was sign Terrell Pryor. We already had Jordan Reed and Jamison Crowder, and with Josh Doxson.
And you let
coming
go
back.
Pierre
Reed getting
Garçon,
hurt is
who's-
huge. Josh
Well, I wanted
Doxson
them to
being
bring back one of
healthy.
those guys.
Yeah, Pierre Garçon to me is one of the most underrated.
I was
football
surprised that they
players.
didn't try to bring
He's so underrated.
But they had
You
to
know.
keep.
Yeah.
They felt they needed to keep Kirk Cousins for
Right.
this season. But if 7-9 is the best you're
Look,
going
man,
to do, then
I'm not defending this organization.
No.
Like I don't understand
no,
everything
I'm
they're
on
doing.
I'm on that McCoy train as well
Yeah.
because that's a Moneyball play.
That's
Right.
So you wouldn't mind.
That's a-
You wouldn't
that's
mind? Colt McCoy?
That's a because if it doesn't work,
do something different. I don't
yeah,
know.
like because if it
believe
doesn't work, who
that.
cares? And if it
I'm
works,
pretty-
you can
Yeah.
break
I
it
mean,
down with
after
zeros
the
and
Cowboys
ones.
game, I'm just kind of like, okay, this is if you want to, we're like, oh yeah, if he had weapons, then it'd be better. Okay, well we don't have the money to get weapons if we give you the money that you want. So it's kind of like, all right,
That he's
yeah.
worth.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
not worth
agree.
it. You
My
guys,
thing
you love Kirk Cousins, you
I
can have him.
do.
Hey, in free agency this year.
I know. I feel
Giants could probably
Yeah,
afford it.
please take him.
No,
I feel like we can literally just.
Josh Rosen.
I feel like we can literally just go back and forth,
We
but
could.
some
We
guys have bad seasons. Like the Giants lost their two starting receivers this year too. It's just
4.
the year.
Kirk
So-
Cousins didn't have a bad season statistically. He had a good season, but
He didn't have a winning season.
Yeah, but that's the point. W's, not.
I'm just
stats.
thinking, like, what other weapons? Like, I feel like you have the weapons. It
Chris
just didn't
Thompson's
work
a
out
decent
this
back. He got
year.
hurt.
Okay.
Like, you need the running back
Oh,
and you need the offensive
Hey,
line.
let's
but
go
the
to
receiving.
let's go to last year. We didn't make the playoffs with 2,000-yard receiving guys, and he had 2 opportunities to clinch the playoffs against the Panthers and against the Giants, and they lost.
Sorry.
Okay, he had the weapons last year. Now what?
Okay.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
we get it. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
if
in
they
it
bring
for
him
the-
back, I'm okay with it too.
Yeah.
Because we'll be semi-competitive. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I see why they wouldn't bring him
Yeah,
back.
he's clearly for him. He's more about the stats, and for him, you're buying the stats. But the only stat anyone should worry about is the W's. And
Right.
the W's haven't been there for the Redskins.
I'll say it time and time again. Kirk Cousins, it's 3rd and 8. We needed first down, 6 yards. We got the first down. He got the stat. We didn't get the first down, but he got the yards and the stats. So his
Yeah, he
numbers
got the,
look great.
He got the reception. He got the 6
I'm
yards.
not gonna lie,
he
that's
got
one of the most
All
like
right.
genius
it's
analogies.
how it is. That's Kirk Cousins.
Well,
I'm gonna steal that analogy from some.
I stole it from someone too. So I'm not gonna,
Oh,
like, take
okay,
credit
okay.
for it.
besides the Eagles being in the playoffs and the Cowboys maybe being in the playoffs, we still have some stuff going on in this current season. But honestly, at this point for the NFC East, I'm just excited for the offseason. Like, I'm excited to see what
Let's go to all season.
Can't wait for this season to be over.
Some of us are excited for the
to see, like,
postseason.
I'm excited as well, especially if the Cowboys are still contenders. But I'm honestly intrigued to see what's going to happen to these two teams.
Yeah.
We usually
Who are the
win all
Giants
season.
going to sign as their head coach? Are the Redskins going to have Kirk Cousins in a burgundy uniform next year? Like, are they going to get a star running back in the draft? What's going to happen?
Is
It's
Josh
very
Rodriguez gonna be the
interesting.
team reporter for the New York Giants? We don't
Hey,
know. Let's
hey.
find out.
Is that a
know.
possibility?
No, not at
Wow.
all.
Has he sent them a reel?
Well,
speaking into existence.
We
I like
do
that.
still have 2 weeks left. It's 2 weeks.
2
right?
weeks.
2 more weeks of the NFL left, but we are out of time tonight, so we will be back not next week. We are off because the studios are closed for Christmas. But we will see you. What day is that? January 3rd, January 2nd, January 3rd, or 2nd.
Because they're closed till the 2nd.
Well, you can
We're
watch us all week. We're on YouTube.
Look at a calendar. We clearly didn't.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in, guys. This has been the NFC East Reactions and Updates show on AfterBuzz TV. My name is Jenna Bussiere. You can find me on Twitter at Jenna_Bussiere.
I'm Josh Rodriguez. Twitter, Instagram, Josh_Rodriguez_. Also, just letting you guys know, we're going to try to do an NBA weekly type show. So if you're an NBA fan, join us. This panel right here, we just discussed doing an NFL playoff show. Juliet's in the booth. She's an engineer. I have to go through her and ask her for permission, but I think she'll be fine with it. So stay tuned for all that stuff.
And I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter almost exclusively. That's at Steve Kaufmann, KAUFMANN.
And I'm DeAnjilo. You can hit me up on Twitter at DeAnjilo TV or on Instagram at DeAnjilo.
Thank you, guys.
Go Giants.
Have a good one.
Josh Rosen.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.